I'll tell you, as a humongous fan of Death Note, I am speechless that they actually granted a wish I've had for years. For the longest time, I thought I was the only massive Death Note fan that also truly appreciated its roots in 80s soft rock. I can't believe they finally understand me. Death Note is directed by Adam Wingard and is on Netflix now. And yes, I did get a new tattoo. I actually got this today. I was able to put on a shirt with sleeves this time because this one doesn't hurt as much right now because we only did ink and shading. Despite the fact that that looks very red, there's no red ink here. That's just blood vessels. Yeah, it doesn't exactly feel great. But I got Samus, Star Fox, and Link this time. And I'm very glad that I did because my artist is amazing. Bethany Hendricks, I love you. You're incredible. Thank you very much. Let's talk about this film that I saw called Death Note. I happen to be a giant fan of the anime. The last few episodes did kind of run off the rails when they did something to my favorite character in the show, but before that it was pretty much perfect anime. So I was very excited while also being terrified about seeing this adaptation because, as you guys know, anime adaptations scare me. At the same time, I'm happy when I see a studio recognizing the importance of anime and trying to adapt it for more audiences, because that's something I've always tried to promote on my channel, that anime has had a major influence on American cinema and cinema all around the world, really. And so I'm glad whenever someone tries. And what I can say about this movie is that Adam Wingard definitely tried. He's not just throwing things at the screen. There are strange stylistic choices, yes. Very odd soundtrack choices, that's for sure, when it comes to music. If you couldn't tell, I was being completely sarcastic in the opening. But you can tell that he actually is putting forth effort to try to make a competent film. This is not a throwaway disaster like The Last Airbender or Dragon Ball Evolution. But, all that being said, I was pretty disappointed in the long run because certain things involving characters have been changed so much from the anime and manga, and I understand that changes have to be made. I did not sit down ready to hate this movie as soon as I pressed play. But in the original anime, Light Turner is a genius. He gets a book that falls from the sky known as a Death Note, and the Shinigami god, Ryuk, tells him that if he writes any name in this book while picturing that person in his mind, he can kill that person in any way in which he writes down in the book. And he eventually develops this persona called Kira, this godlike entity that he wants to make people believe is watching over everyone, taking out terrible criminals and terrorists and all kinds of murderers. And the people seem to really like this thing that's developed because of this Death Note. A detective named L, who's brilliant but very introverted and strange, is also on the case. Now these two people have a great cat and mouse game, and that's the anime. Certain puzzle pieces of that are in this movie. They got certain things right. L is very weird. He loves sugar. He often hunches over in his chair. He doesn't like to wear shoes. This is a pretty good portrayal of L. Light Turner, however, not too much of anything like he was in the anime. In the show, he turns from a genius kid to a genius kid who's also kind of evil. And they captured that evil turn in this movie where he starts to enjoy what he does, but it's for all of the wrong motivations. Here in this film, he seems to want to try to kill people in his Death Note to impress this girl that he likes, which is the oddest character choice, and it's so conventional. They've taken characters that are very complex and extremely compelling in the original Japanese anime and manga, and they've made them your stereotypical teen archetypes of these types of movies, and I don't get why. For the first 20 minutes of Death Note, I'll be honest, I was actually kind of interested. The note falls from the sky. He meets Ryuk, played in this film by Willem Dafoe, amazingly. Ryuk is easily the best part of this movie. The Shinigami god in the anime was this death god that basically explained all of the rules to Light, but he also had a way of manipulating him because he didn't really give a shit. He kind of just wanted to see. He was like the Joker in The Dark Knight. He just appreciated chaos. I relished every minute on screen with Ryuk. They really got this character right. He's barely in the movie, though. I needed way more of Ryuk. It's like they didn't realize the best thing that they had going for them, and they barely ever utilized this really awesome looking monster god thing that could have been so cool if they had him in more. For those first 20 minutes, I was thinking, okay, they've changed a few things, but this is competent. Then they decide to do a montage sequence that skips some of the most compelling things about the show when he becomes the persona of Kira and decides he's going to kill terrorists and all these organizations and take on criminals. They montage through this in minutes. And then all of a sudden the whole world is like thinking, oh, Kira's great. L shows up and the game of cat and mouse starts. But it montaged through so much development. So the film feels so rushed because of that. There just wasn't enough motivation for why Light turns more towards evil beyond he has this girl there and they kind of team up and they like each other, so yay. I didn't go into this movie wanting to hate it. I was actually really pulling for him. I was hoping it would be good. You can look at this movie and say, well, you're just judging it because you've seen the anime and you're comparing that. Okay, let's just take Death Note out of it. Take the anime out of it. I've never heard of Death Note before. Does it work as a film? Sure, you can watch it. The characters are fine. The special effects are fine. It has a compelling idea. But the issue that I have with it as a movie is that towards the middle portion, it loses so much dramatic weight because we speed through a very integral part of Light's life. And I'm not even talking about the anime anymore. You start the movie and he's a normal high school guy, and in 5 minutes he's a sociopath. It was such an awkward jump. There's a lot of strange stylistic choices as well, and an effort to make it more friendly to American audiences when it really didn't have to be. There's this big action chase scene. It just felt way too American, and that's one of my biggest issues, I think, with Western adaptations of Japanese material. You have to honor the culture that this is coming from. I understand that an adaptation for America is for America. I also understand that a lot of the creators of Death Note like this movie. And I've said in the past that it's hard for fans of things, especially anime or comic books, to let go of their cherished love for something, because we often feel like we take ownership of characters that we love or shows that we love. And we have to understand that we don't own these characters. And if the creators are happy, good. If the creators are happy with this movie, cool, I'm glad. I'm not. I think that they dropped the ball. The casting choices also could have been better. And there's been enough talk about that already, so I'm not going to add any fuel to the fire. Death Note is a movie that should have been very dark and very thematically rich because of the implications of a young kid in school who has the ability to kill anyone he wants. But this movie becomes sort of a YA romance with slow motion dance sequences and 80s soft rock. Very strange choices, and it disappointed me. I'm going to give Death Note a C-. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to my review of Good Time and some more Stephen King reviews. I didn't have any time to film anything else today. I got a tattoo. I watched Death Note. I filmed the review. Oh, and yes, I actually am going to color this too. I forget if I mentioned that. This is going to be like full color. But this, just the ink and the shade alone was 4 hours today. So nothing after that. I was like, we're good. We're good. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.